Hi, it's Ray from Pro Shaper Workshop in Charlton, Massachusetts, and we knocked this panel out in about 15-20 minutes yesterday on the Maglio or the helve hammer, and I said that it would clean up really good. It needed a little bit more in the middle here. It cleaned up really nice in the wheel. So I wanted to start this video off with just cleaning this up, and let's see if we can get a polish on it pretty fast. So I've got one of my highest crown wheels. I only have 3 wheels that I use with this machine. Maybe Mark can show them. I got this one. This is my workhorse wheel, which I use probably 60 to 70% of the time. And this is my low crown panel wheel. I've got these two, but I've only used them about 5 minutes in 20 years plus. So this one is probably 5-10% or so, 15%. I could use my workhorse in this, but I'll use this because it'll knock it down faster. So I'll load the pressure up pretty good. And you'll see this taking a shine on, I think, in just a matter of a few minutes or so. Now, people have asked, why do I have these crazy big wheels? Nobody else has got them. Well, a few people have copied me, and some people have made them, I guess. So there's a few out there. But if you're a traditionalist, you probably have a 3-inch wide wheel. And I started out with a 3-inch wide wheel. And the issue with a 3-inch wide wheel is, and worse is a 2-inch wide wheel, is if you have a low crown panel and you go off like 1 degree like this, the edge of the wheel will bite right in and put a big heavy wheel bite on the top. And then cleaning that up sometimes can get you into the overdevelopment real fast on a low crown. So that was the main stimulus for me to try going outside the traditional thinking and making a wide wheel. The other thing it does is, when you have wider wheels, you can have a wider contact area. The widest contact area I have is with my low crown wheel, which I believe is about 7/8 of an inch or so. If you get it a little wider than that, it resists turning a little, but you probably could go a little wider. So, and what this does too is, if you have a surface and it's going like this, and then there's a low, and then it's equal like on either side, but with a little low in the middle, this will bridge that surface. It's similar to the difference between using a slapper and a hammer to take dents out. When you've got a slapper, you've got a big wide face, and that slapper allows you to more effectively bring that low up, and you get the same situation with a wider wheel. Let me just wheel this out, and I'm just going to try to traverse this whole area here. If I was a really good English wheel practitioner type, methodical English wheeler, I would be super methodical in my tracking and stuff, but I always find that to be a little boring, so I just go where I need to go. I'm watching the surface all the time, and I have the flexible shape pattern that's going to tell me what I did. Now when you go out like that, now you go in at 45 and you can go right in easy. Whoop. So I got to set these shrinks down, which is going to release a little bit of that shrinking that we did on the side. Now I got to make up for it by stretching a more little inboard. So you take away some of the shape by working this edge and setting it down, and then you add more shape by working in here a little bit more, which it needed a little bit anyways. So you can see all the track marks now. That's the The width of this track on this wheel is about 3/8 to 7/16 or so. So I'm going to pump the pressure up more. This is the beauty of this machine here. I made this machine in like 1993 too. Both the Maglio and this wheel I made in 1993, and this was all mostly scrap metal. And you can listen to the wheel too. It's just like a MIG welder. When you're MIG welding properly, it makes this really nice sound, and you want to get that consistency of this sound. When you're wheeling, you'll get this nice swishing sound when it's in the surface is where you want it to be, and it's consistent too. Now see, there's a couple little shrinks that popped over here on this edge, which I really didn't need. These will be all cut off. But when I go over those, I call it the railroad track effect. So we're setting all those stretch marks down and the shrink marks down. And you can see now it's starting to shine. So I don't know if I'll take this to finish because, as I promised yesterday, we'll do the same panel, but we'll do it with my 4-inch shrink die in my power hammer and see how long that takes to do. And it's just a way of comparing the different methods. The only thing I don't have in my shop is an Eckhold machine, unfortunately, and if I had an Eckhold machine I could show you how you could make this same panel with the Eckhold machine. That's another technique of making it. I noticed yesterday it was pretty funny. We got, I don't know, like 3,000 views or something on that one we made with the panel. We made the same panel with the Maglio and or the helve hammer, and I got 274 thumbs up, but there was one thumbs down. I'm trying to figure out who is that guy. Who gave me a thumbs down? What's wrong with that person? In the end, you got to go this way here to get right up to the end. But you can see that's really shining pretty good now. All the stretch marks have settled down, and these are the little white stress marks from the shrinking. And as you wheel over them, that whiteness will forge right out of there, and it'll all be shiny and nice. You still got a little bit of railroad track noise coming over those shrinks. So now I'm doing a little bit closer spacing tracking here. Go right through the panel, and then we'll check the flexible shape pattern on it and see where we're at. I got a lot of pressure on this thing right now. when you have a lot of pressure, you really can't get a good surface quality. It leaves a bunch of tracking marks, but they come out really easy when you lighten the pressure up. I'm putting the higher pressure just to settle this all down. All right, let's see what it says. Now remember, we lost some here probably, and we gained some here. It might be, see, you still need a bunch in here. And we have a lot of extra metal here too. We could trim a little bit. Well, let's see if we can pull it down this way. It might be a little bit tighter. We could probably be about right there. So it needs a little more right in there. But now we have it all settled. We could trim this, but it's going to be probably not that exciting. So you get the idea. We got this polishing up already. Another 10-15 minutes and this thing will be shining like this over here everywhere. Still got a little bit of settle in there. We're going to have to pump this up in here, trim it, and the panel would be good to go. But I think you believe me when I say that, so we don't have to really finish this panel. This was a 19 gauge panel, and I've got another 19 gauge panel trimmed out, and now we're going to go over to the my power hammer, and we'll shrink this one up, and we'll try to make the same panel and see how long that takes. Alright, so we're at the Trumpf machine. As I said yesterday, I would show some of the Trumpf machine. So this has got the thumbnail dies. This has the 2-inch thumbnail dies. The power hammer I have over here, my design power hammer, that has 4-inch thumbnail dies. So I'll do a little bit of the shrinking on the Trumpf machine with the 2-inch, and then we'll do the final shrinking on the power hammer. Mark gave me the 2-minute warning, and you can see that's how much crown we got. It looks like about 1.5 inches or so. Not that impressive in my opinion. I think I could do better in the shrinking facilitator. So That does work good though. I don't want to downgrade it too much. I tend to not use that Trumpf for shrinking so much. Mark set up a nice little camera in the background, so we should have a little 2-camera shot of that. So let's go over to the power hammer with the 4-inch die. All right, so here we go. Just for comparison, I got to do a little over here. Remember, I have to do more at the top and less down here. So I got to be careful I don't over shrink it down here. And this is a little bit of a fight too. You really have to hold on to this panel in order to get the desired result. Alright, now we get the flexible shape pad and see where we're at. Alright, that was about 4 minutes on the power hammer, and we're down to about an inch or so here. We've got a ton of extra material here I could cut off. I probably should do that. Let me cut an inch or so off because I got plenty over here too. And we'll do a couple more shrinks and I think we're going to be there. So let's stop, I'll cut that off and then we'll come back and do a few more shrinks. Alright, let's get a little bit more on here. Now let's see what that did. We were about 3/4 of an inch. I cut about an inch or so off the edge. And now we're almost there. Maybe just a little bit more. I'll do another minute or two. That should do it. Then we'll fire up the other die and we'll smooth it all out. Alright, now we'll smooth it all out. Alright, let's see where we're at. That is pretty close. I can get that nice chrome plate finish on the English wheel. Let's go over there for just a few minutes and we'll smooth this up on the English wheel. Alright, so here's a side-by-side comparison here. This is the one we just wheeled a little bit earlier. That's the one that was done on the helve hammer and the Maglio. We shrunk and then we stretched a bunch in here. We can cut these in half too later. Maybe I'll develop them a little bit further so they kind of fit the buck pretty good. And then we'll cut these in half just for a good comparison between all the methods. And this one was done with my power hammer with the thumbnail die and a little bit on the Trumpf machine with a 2-inch thumbnail die. And then there's a little bit of stretching, compression stretching here. I blended this together. It still needs to go about 3/4 of an inch. So we'll put it in there with heavy pressure on the English wheel. And after we develop these two, then we'll do a comparison. We won't do that today, but maybe the next day or so. So here we go. Wheel this one up and see how long it takes to get it to shine. Oh, I'm going to have to loosen it up a little bit. I got a lot of pressure on there. Yeah. Now you see this edge here has got some waves in it. Now I could bring the thumbnail dies in and shrink this a little bit more and that'll settle those all down. Or I can stretch inboard and that'll all settle down. And this is I've gone over this probably in 15 videos now. And everybody fights this as a demon called the loose edge. And watch how I fix this by stretching inboard here and that will settle that all down. Well, first I'm going to do a little bit over in here. And I'm going to do the heavy pull down right up in here. That's where it needs most of that curve. Get this backside pumped up a little bit to match the front. Get that curve blending nicely. And you know, I'm reading this as I wheel. I just watch what's happening real closely. Now, a lot of people would go, oh, you need to go over to the kink shrinker and shrink that and it'll settle all down. Yeah, you can do it that way. But now watch, I'll do the 45s and that'll all settle right in nicely. You see it's a wave. The wave will go away. Give it a little more pressure. And that thumbnail die really works the metal. The metal is moved so many hundreds and hundreds of times when it's running through that die. I lost my pen. That the metal actually heats up, which probably makes it a little bit more malleable too when you think about it. The die made sort of a flat on the side here and it needs a nice round, so by wheeling this out is exactly what we need to do. You can see that's getting a lot better already. Alright, so what was all wavy is now just a little bit. That'll come right out. The shrinks have settled down pretty nicely.
Get the waviness out, you're not going to the edge, you're just going...
Yeah, I'm going up to the edge when I do the waviness. If you go on the edge, you'll actually make the edge wavier. So you can't run right on the edge. You've got to be inboard of the edge. And then we'll blend that a little bit over here. Now you see this backside's going up like this. Now we're going to have to do the same thing there. We want to go up to that edge at a 45-degree angle and settle that down. I've had a bunch of critics about my wide top wheels. They say, oh, they don't work. They can't do anything good. You still got the same contact area. Well, not really. On my low crown wheel, that's got a pretty wide contact area, and you get all these benefits of stabilizing the panel. I would never use the traditional size wheel if I have my options. These wider wheels are vastly superior to the traditional sizes. And even better is the anvils being a little bit bigger. Your anvils being bigger, that's better too. And so you think about it, I mean, look at the race cars in the teens and the 20s. They had these little tiny little tires, and the tires are the most important thing that makes a race car win. Without the tires, there's no race. What do the race car tires look like today? Why is that? There's so much more to discover in both techniques and the tools in this craft. If you get locked on a traditional way of thinking, you're just going to be doing the same thing over and over and over again. If you question stuff, then new ideas emerge, new techniques. There's a lot to learn still. And it's because something's different doesn't mean it's better. It's got to be different for a reason. It has to be superior in its performance. I posted on Facebook. I have a really good Facebook page. I have 5,000 followers. If you want to follow me, you won't be able to be a friend, but you can follow me. I've got 5,000 friends rather, but you have an unlimited number of followers. And I share really well. I put some original material up, but mostly I share really good stuff as I see it. And along that same line of thinking about innovation, I've posted recently or shared a few sailing videos, America's Cup sailing videos. And boy, what a revolution in America's Cup sailing designs. All the boats now have foils that are all articulated, and they can pull the foils out of the water. It looks like the boats are doing about 60 knots now with a high wind. It's just absolutely incredible. So there's a sport. Of course, the reason why it innovates so much is there's a lot of money in it. And innovation is brought about by somebody like Bert Munro down in New Zealand, who takes an old Indian bike and sets world records with it by innovating new things, or a group of engineers working on America's Cup with a, probably a $25 or $100 million budget, or somebody in their two-car garage thinking there's a better way, and not just telling people, but actually showing them with a new innovation. That's what makes America great. And it's not only confined to America, it can be anywhere. There's a Thai metal shaper that I follow on Facebook. I've been following him for years. He does stainless steel sculptures, and he's got a really basic workshop with and tools that he made himself, his English wheels and stuff. And a couple of weeks ago, he posted a really nice assisted English wheel that has a counterbalance on it. And it's the first time I had seen anything like that. I really kind of might want to build one myself. When you're working with stainless steel, it's a very difficult metal to work with, and he works with it almost exclusively. And boy, and I can't pronounce his name. It's like an Icelandic name. These Thai names are very difficult for an English-speaking person to properly pronounce. So that's shaping up pretty good. It needs a lacquer thinner wash. It's got a little oil on it. But let's see what the flexible shape pattern says. Okay, we're down to about a half an inch, maybe 3/4 here. But it's settled all down. It's taken the proper shape now. It actually looks a little better than it. Well, about the same. A bath and probably a half an hour of stretching with the English wheel, and you'll gain that extra. You got to pull down hard on it, and then do surface quality, a little trim, and that would be a finished panel. And that would be a finished panel in about probably an hour and a half. and that's 19 gauge too. So I don't think I'll do it today, and just want to do the comparison. So maybe we'll finish these panels up on another day and cut them in half, and we'll be able to compare them properly. So I want to thank everybody for telling their friends about my YouTube channel, the Pro Shaper channel. And don't forget, I've got about 180 something videos now, and a lot of people don't know this, but all you have to do is click on my name there on every video, and it brings you to my YouTube homepage, and there's all the 180 videos. So tell your friends, keep watching, keep giving those great comments, and I guess I'm going to have to suffer one thumbs down every once in a while, but thank you anyways. At least you're watching, even if you're giving me a thumbs down. And it's Ray from Pro Shaper Workshop. Thank you.